All right, here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Hambbage, and welcome on back. If you've been here before, I'm glad to have you back again. If you're new, hey, get comfy. We're going to do some more work in the Nether. That's right, we're playing hardcore vanilla Minecraft as regular here. Um, so let's load up our slow cooker world. In the last episode, we found an ideal spot, we think, and have now been prepping that for setting up a ghast farm and transferal center, let's call it. So we're just kind of plugging away here with our picks, and it's a good thing we got some nether quartz in past trips. Because we're going to need the XP. This is not light duty on our picks. And unfortunately, the expectation of finding any ancient debris up in these levels is pretty much nil. Yeah, we may get lucky and find a random one, but this is not the place we want to be doing that. However, the opposite would be true if we were trying to get gas. Trying to do that down at the bottom of the Nether would be the opposite of productive. So we'll take the good and the bad, and know that pretty soon here, in a relative sense, we got a lot of competing demands on our time. But at some point, we want to go get some more ancient debris. The good news is, if we don't have enough quartz to do much repairing, we'll go spend some more time gathering up gunpowder. And with a few stacks of sand, we can make a lot of TNT and go get some. And now that we're here with two reasons to be at the end of our Nether highway, we can bounce back and forth and get some blazes. Still think we may do that. This again has just kind of been a lurking desire on my to-do list, and having done the basement, I think it throws a bit more variety in than just going right into the tower, but getting real close on that. Along those lines, one of the times when we were harvesting our crops, I don't even know, a handful of episodes ago, before we went and traded, I mentioned, oh hey, I totally forgot I was going to look at historical silos, and what did those look like? Well, according to Wikipedia is the primary source that I was looking at, in terms of silos at least. The first modern vertical type silo was made in New York, I believe, in like maybe the 1850s. I might be off there, but in the sense of a old school silo that stood vertically, was maybe made out of stone or something like that. Not a whole lot there, but that doesn't mean that all hope is lost. Of course, the kind of main takeaway was that in our kind of period, most threshing was done by hand, and they did it kind of in the same barn buildings where, surprise, surprise, they were going to be storing and feeding and bedding the animals. So everything was close at hand. It kind of worked out well for everyone involved. And so I found an incredible site, and I don't have the link. I don't know. I'll have to try to track it back down myself at some point, but hopefully it's just in my search history and I can recreate that enough to get back to it. But it was like historic farm buildings of England. It was some, like bureaucratic thing, and the top of the page is like, we have officially changed our name from English Heritage stuff to the Heritage of England Farm Association. I'm ad-libbing here, but it was like that total bureaucratic, oh yeah, our organization has changed and we're not going to update the documents to reflect it, but we are going to put a splash at the top of every page to let you know, not that anybody really cares too much except for the people in that organization, right? And I say that haltingly, I'm sure some people care very much, but as somebody just trying to learn about old style farm buildings and get ideas, that's not me. But anyway, they had all. I didn't even get to read it all. I was on my phone and I was waiting for something and was like, oh, let's Google the old silos, and I found this. It's like a PDF and it's like 60 pages or something like that. But it seemed amazing, and that's one of the things I love about the UK and any societies where you have such living history all around you and you're kind of immersed in it, is that just inescapable creation of organizations to celebrate those things. Really, really, really cool. And so it's amazing that people have done all this work to capture it and kind of let casual, interested people like us have resources to say, oh yeah, I wonder about it for my little Minecraft world. It doesn't mean that much to me, but here's a listing of all the various stuff. And then they in the little bit I saw, it goes through like a listing, like what are all the things for processing and storage of feed and fodder silos, and it was like hay barracks, which I think could be a good stand-in, and then things that they said were not very common, but makes sense when you consider how they overlap, like grain kilns, which would be used for drying out grain if you were going to be doing brewing. And they said there's not a lot of those existing anymore, but they're kind of in the places that you would expect, where a lot of distilleries and breweries and those kind of places still exist today. So very, very, very cool document to discover, and I hope to spend some more time with it. I think it could be very rich with ideas, and what's more, it goes into a lot of detail about how the various buildings were set up. So, like in the period, yes, a barn, as defined as such, was really named such because it was divided by the supports into stalls or bays, and the stalls actually come from the I don't know which came first, right? It might be a chicken and egg thing, and that it may be covered in more detail in that document. I kind of doubt it, but stalls you also hear used in cathedrals, right, where the central aisle has supports for the roof, buttresses coming into interior, and each of those has a supporting column. Those divide the aisle into sections, and then along the side where there's windows, those are bays, and those become stalls that they are kind of divided subsections along the length. Barns became the same thing, and initially, at least, only some of those were designated. It wasn't. I think of stall, and this may be just a U.S.-centric kind of thinking, but I think of a stall. I think of something with some grates at the top and swinging doors, and you put animals in it, and it goes. And you may happen to have another section the same size to store tack. If they're horses, and you're going to have saddles and bridles and reins and all the rest of it, blankets. That would be a tack room. It wouldn't necessarily just be another stall. but that was the real intent. And some of those stalls would then be used for storage of grain and all the rest, and tools or processing. And they had special areas where they would have designed ventilation, and that was where they hand threshed the grain. And again, being a UK-based document, corn is used to describe any of the grains, wheat in particular, and the actual grains of a grain are the corn, and separated from the chaff and some of those other parts of the plants. But yeah, that was all done by hand threshing, where you're beating the gathered and then dried. You guys are really just bumping into me, making my aim difficult. So wind became important to separate the fruit from the chaff, or the corn from the chaff, as they're beating, think clumps of dried wheat, right? And they would then thresh those on the threshing floor. That sometimes comes up, now we think of that as like killing and like wars of, tales from the threshing floor or something. But that was really a agricultural activity where you're beating the grains to get the actual grains of grain out from the long straw that then you're going to want to gather up too, so that the airflow would actually do the dividing as the stuff rose into clouds, and the heavier grains would settle to the floor, and the lighter chaff would then the hulls of the grain would then catch in the air and float a little distance, where the air current would then be deprived and they would settle, and so they could be gathered and used for feed, or in the case of like the straw for fodder, that kind of stuff. So I learned a ton, and I just scratched the surface. I love documents like that teach a lot more, and that's another part of why I love Minecraft. It just lets your imagination run wild, and then if you supplement that, you don't just go, okay, well, I want to build a barn, and you just stick with yours, but like, all right, well, this would be something that I would be unfamiliar with. What does that look like? And yeah, I love having those questions raised that then make me go and seek out an answer or something. And sometimes you find little gems or treasures like this, and it's like, oh, I'm going to learn stuff here that won't just make my Minecraft world richer. It'll make future travel, and just, as I, if I do another drive across country to see my family or something, I look at U.S. modern farming, I'm going to think like, okay, well, this is what I learned about some of the roots of all that back in Europe. Apply what you know. It's very cool. So anyway, that was a bit of a ramble, but I wanted to let you guys know, sometimes I talk about these things, and every once in a while, for myself, I follow through on them. And so I did a little bit of research, but I haven't bothered with like spawn mechanics of the Nether. I think this is all going to work out fine. So unless we find it's just not working at all when we get it all done, which would be a shame, we're just going to assume it's good, and let it run once we get it going. I say let it run. There's really nothing to do there. And again, shout out to, I mentioned him a couple times today, John Bam's a streamer I'm a big fan of. Somebody who really raised a lot of awareness of playing hardcore vanilla Minecraft in this style. And so all props to him. Kind of made me angry today, I think. He was talking about how he really hated terracotta bricks, and so I was like, man, you don't know anything. I love terracotta. But he was really talking about the glazed, and I kind of got to reluctantly agree. I think the main thing there, though, is you gotta use them in such limited quantities to just be an interesting accent. It's like modern art or something. It can be very cool. It's not, I'm as you guys may guess, I'm kind of historical, and love some of the old classics of art, and literature and all the rest. Where are you going, dude? You you just like come up and punk me with that little gold sword and then run away and hide in the corner? What is that? But oh, yeah, your buddy came and saw me too. Nothing in that one yet. Lots here. Yeah, this is why it's always good to have shulker boxes. Full complement of those. We're almost good here. I think we've got some more. Right. And again, we're getting real close, guys, so bear with me. I know we've got a couple episodes in here, but this should be a good one. It gets a little bit chaotic as we're trying to go, so it's some good entertainment. Should be once we get things firing. What's more, we should inadvertently get a couple more access points to the overworld in otherwise chunks that we passed over on our way. Well, actually, no, I take that back, because this is close to our Wither Skelly farm, and I don't know that we have been. I was thinking, previously we'd thought about setting this up over at our 17 chunks around the way, but we went in the opposite direction, so who knows what may lie in the overworld here. But we'll get a couple portals, inconvenient ones at that, but it's not their fault. Hear that? I don't know if he's inside here, although I think if he was, we'd be much more aware. That is another reason why it's good to extract this space if you can, as opposed to building it up in open air. Anything that is a mound, when we hear a ghast outside like that, that's just one that won't be spawning in here, right? And if you think about that over enough checks and enough time, can become a factor. If you can find just a very solid, whatever biome it is, 40 blocks down from the ceiling where everything is filled in, that becomes pretty good, because those blocks are not going to allow gas to spawn in them. And the only place that they'll have to spawn will be in your little chamber here. So that would be a factor. I just know, I don't have to look at spawning rules to know that. If you can eliminate any other possible spaces, then everything has to come in here. So if you really wanted to make an efficient ghast farm, the advice would be fill in everything around here with the exception of these blocks, and then you'd have ghasts coming out of your ears, probably to the point of a major issue, but it'd be fun to watch. So if anybody's really bored and wants to send me a video link that they know I will watch, just get it all done first and then show me how it works. That would be one I don't think I would do in hardcore, where I had to gather all the materials, but hey, people have means of getting lots of blocks, so that would be one. And there's probably mods and things that would really help that out. I've watched a few, but I really haven't watched even as many videos. I know some of you guys may have seen me drop a few comments in your videos and stuff, but I haven't seen as many or as complete videos in quite a while. I haven't watched that much TV or content or anything like that, but I did watch a couple more episodes, and man, I gotta shout out this show. Every time I go to say it, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. I think it's Latka, something. Oh, now it's on Netflix. It's been in the top 10 for a while now. and please, no spoilers. If you guys have already watched this, don't completely ruin it for me. I think I'm moving through now that it's not just a complete like I don't get this, and I won't ruin it for anybody else. All I would say is that it is an incredible slow burn of suspense that I think despite the differences in culture of Icelandic versus U.S. or other cultures, it's so accessible, and it. A lot of us may not see our own lives there exactly, but the issues and things certainly are all common to all of us, and except for the crazy stuff, and the crazy stuff is so well crazied. It's so multifaceted that you're like, what can be behind this? It doesn't fit the fiction categories that we like to box all of our content into, or that content. And I'm not saying content creators like YouTubers, but like movies makers and directors and writers and all that. They fall into the norm, like, right? As Minecraft players, we fall into styles that we see everybody else. There could be some completely random way to solve one of the problems of Minecraft, but because everybody has either seen it or done it a different way, you never even think to try it that way until until somebody with a background that doesn't include that shared community knowledge approaches it. I mean, maybe there's somebody just out there playing hardcore vanilla that hasn't ever watched a video, doesn't even know that's a thing, and they've just been banging away. Like, how do you get a gas to the? And they have some just totally unique take on it that works really well, but others just aren't aware. It's just out there. Well, this feels like that, and I've said I was a huge X-Files fan when the X-Files was a current show. And I know they rebooted a few times in movies and stuff as Duchovny and what's her name? British actress who played Scully. It'll come to me, I'm sure. But between the two of them, they've been willing to get on board and do a few movies, and I think that at this point that's largely just a nod to their fans, right? And I hope with Netflix and Prime and some of those, it's something they can reboot. But one of the great things about the X-Files at its prime was that they refused to just get locked into their storyline, and it's 20-plus-year-old series now, so I'm not too worried about spoilers. But there's the whole black oil aliens kind of battle and possessions and all the backstory between the characters that is tying it through, and that continued for years, and it was ever evolving, and it was deep and rich and had lots of facets for the fans that were. There we go, it's working. You're gonna help. We got a tier, cool, or we can have a tier. Let's get that before anything too terrible goes on. Put you right in there. I guess we can put the fire potion in there too. But yeah, throughout all of it, Chris Carter, I believe, was the producer and sometimes director, sometimes, right? He was kind of the creator of the whole. Man, he didn't hit anything that we actually needed to remove. But yeah, that's why we'll kind of work to basalt up the. So that's what we want. That's a good sign. Having ghasts showing up in here is exactly what we want to facilitate in this space. So good stuff there. So next up will be swapping out our floor first, just in case there's holes below it. don't want to play Spleef with a Ghast and lose. So, for anybody that doesn't know, Spleef is a mini game where you play in a preset arena that has a floor of dirt blocks or something else that's easily broken. And in multiplayer servers, or however you set it up, I guess you can make a Spleef server, but usually it's on servers. Somebody will make an arena and then challenge other players to games where you basically run around in this preset area knocking away blocks from under the other people. And it's preset, whether you have a shovel or you just have bare hands or whatever. You go around, and they can get involved where they have like multiple layers, and you can increasingly remove all the pieces out from under your feet of the first layer and work progressively down through several layers, where each time you knock out the blocks, you fall down further. Or it can be a one and done, where if the block below your feet goes, or as more and more blocks are removed, you fall, you plummet to your presumable death, and then the game resets. Or if there's multiple people, you're out and you have to wait until the next round. But it looks like fun. I don't do a whole lot of the multiplayer stuff, so whether it's mini games or server stuff or anything else, I don't have a lot of first-hand experience. But from the videos and things that I've seen, that one looks more appealing than some of the other mini game stuff I see. Just this kind of fun, quick and dirty stuff. Another one I really like, and these go back to like Minecraft or Hermitcraft or something. I'm kind of hoping that is a Ghast. I'm not going to look over there, but if he starts screaming and shooting, we'll just back up behind. The other one was like a big vertical column. It was like a 4x4, but it was completely covered in ladders, and it was like a King of the Mountain type game, where if you got up to the top, you try to stay up there and knock everybody else off. And while you're doing that, the others are climbing and falling, and it was tall enough that as you got up high, you could fall and change your trajectory to get back to catch onto the ladders again, or you would fall all the way. The whole thing was, if you fell all the way, you lost and had to restart, but you lost a turn. That was how points and things were calculated. I think the main goal was to accrue minutes at the top of the tower as the king of the hill, and not spend more time getting knocked off. So if you did it right, you could get up to the top and camp out there. Well, especially if everybody else fell right then, because then they got to climb all the way back up before they can even try to knock you off. So, but I like that one because it's a skill that you could really save your life in hardcore. If you're falling and you get used to the idea of not just oh no and groaning as you plummet to your death, but at least trying to reach that water or angle back to a treetop or catch an edge or something like that of a cliff, those could just save you. So get in here. We'll leave those big guys. All right. This, not that, but this. We got two we can gather up. This one and this one. They go here. Oh, too much. I thought maybe we had enough room there. Now this is the part where we could have a little bit of a time crunch on our hands. I'm just checking the time. We're at 29 minutes. I think we can get the buildy part done, maybe. We'll try anyway. It depends on how many of these dudes are gonna... if light helps. I don't think it does based on the Nether highway. I think they're gonna keep spawning no matter what. And again, maybe Soul Sand Valley is the one that, wouldn't even have these guys, because they're gonna drive us kind of bonkers as we go. I have a feeling. I apologize in advance, but just kind of the way it is. Good news is we got plenty of good armor, and as they get close, we'll clear them on out here. Hope like those, they stick to the two little guys versions instead of the full 4. You guys look so big when I'm staring at the ceiling. I really thought there was another. Now, other than cleaning up, oh man, cleaning up these few blocks, are you? This is where I would love to be in the middle of the winter doing this, because when it gets warm, and it's a little warm in here. I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty comfortable, but it's just warm enough that you get that little bit of like wrist sweat on the mouse pad, and it makes everything that little bit tacky. And when you got to be just perfect underneath to try to get these blocks, any of those mouse movements are come on. I don't think I can blame too much of this on the mouse pad or the game, though. It's really just, especially now that I just really have to hold my finger on the mouse. I don't know why. Oh, come on. W and S. It's not that tough. It's kind of like vacuuming. That feels very inverted as we plod our way. I'll just get, like every time I'm like, alright, yeah, let's hit the opposite key. And you'd think, having just gotten there, I would know. Yeah. Now we're getting a rhythm, so we should be almost done then. At least having clear. Shh. Don't tell the lava slimes. Oh, I said it and then I just heard one squish. Whoa. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have even thought it. But I did. And I can't help that I thought it. Alright, we were so... had our little rhythm going. Everything was honky-dory. Are we good? Let's get a screenshot of empty room. I have now made use of all those little screenshots that I just randomly got for thumbnails the other day when we were in the darkroom spawner. Ran the sunset on the last video. By the way, happy 171st episode, everybody that's watching. Thanks for helping be here. Make that worthwhile. I've really really enjoyed seeing the view numbers go up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you're enjoying it. Please feel free to leave likes or comments. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, say hi. Again, we're not a live stream yet. I do have some ambitions of getting that going in the next few weeks, maybe over on Twitch. But in the meantime, feel free to kind of treat the comments as that. I've really appreciated the both public comments and direct messages that I've gotten from folks along the way saying the pieces that they have enjoyed, and sharing a little bit about their worlds or links to their content, because I would love to come check out what you guys have going on in your worlds. Now, this may be infuriating. I don't know if we can. You know what? We're not even going to deal with it. We are just going to accept and have to take this whole level down one. So apologies, a little bit more work, but there's no way we're going to place all those end up, and I'm not going to have the rando floor of misplaced blocks. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't knock that hole in the ground as we're doing this that we just talked about. I really intended to clear both of those and come back, but with those two guys down in the corner, I figured it was better to just, in our agricultural topic, make hay while the sun shined. So this should help balance back out our loads of basalt. And this is a good... Wait, why is that? Oh, these were ones I already had there, maybe? I don't think I did that. Yeah, this should help balance out our use of the basalt so we don't get too overwhelmed with storage. And netherrack, man, what are we going to do? Always going to have too much netherrack. We could build some of it up into what am I trying to say? No, I must be putting some of these down. I guess I'm just dropping my pointer too low at times. Don't notice them as you're going, unfortunately. Again, another of the things that about basalt I'm not hugely in love with, but we can look at the smooth basalt too, now that that's more of a thing. Also, it is blast resistant for the ghasts, which is a good thing, but not me resistant. Alright. Oh, you know what I should do? Hold on. A little bit of a risk here, but I think worthwhile for our various lava chores. If we're doing this, we can maybe be saving some darkroom spawning time. Although I'd rather have gunpowder than okay. I'd rather have gunpowder than magma creams. Which, why is it cream? That's so weird. What were they thinking? So now we need to go speedy again. Okay, so this time, stay upper third of the block if we can. See, I don't see any. Oh, come on, man, get out of the way. No, I was like, maybe I should make like a racing post in the wall that. And we can, if we get to that point, we can certainly do some pigman slaughter in here too. For XP. Oh. Oh, by the way, did I mention that I passed on an opportunity to go sit outside while it's hot and sunny and hang out with a bunch of friends who, while they're all hanging out, seem to feel the need to text one another constantly. And it's always fun when you're a part of it, but it's like, seriously, you guys are all hanging out, and you don't need to fill the rest of us in on everything. Oh, I'm moving that off the table. The buzzing is driving me crazy. And yeah, it's all, tacos are tasty. Really? Thanks. Guess what? We'll see you next time in person. Then we can talk about that. I'm sorry, that seems horrible to say, and I don't mean it about my friends. They're my friends. I would love to be with them, but it was kind of a, what do you think, tonight or tomorrow night? And I was like, tomorrow night seems a lot cooler and would be ideal. Okay, I just talked about it. Yeah, now would not be an ideal time to take on pigmen, because that's an army for sure. So we're going to try to not anger them, and maybe hope that they all... What do we think the odds are that they don't all fill in this exact channel and concentrate? I'd say they're pretty bad, but that's just me. Let's try to get this quartz, though. Oh, invisible block? Just some weird game. Something is like the occasional push and the occasional not. Guess we're taxing it. Well, we'll do our best to make whatever this awkward spot is go away. Hey, buddy. There you go. Well timed. See, the pigmen are pretty cool. Like, as frustrating as it can be, like when you're on a narrow. I don't know why that one is sideways. We'll have to fix that eventually too. Mind so much the one that goes high, because we can go back and clean that up when we're in the midst of mining the next rows. But okay, yeah, I know you guys are checking my progress, checking the work, making sure it's done to zombie pigman satisfaction. Let's just keep on rolling right along. Car outside, it's got to be a car AC, and it is just cranking out there. Brrr. not you. So now I'm kind of thinking, as we're doing this, like, man, we're kind of wasting our time. If a gas does come along, it would be better to have him in. Let's check our available supplies. We can at least do one side. Oh. Oh, can we though? Yes, we can. Alright. So let's change our focus a bit here. And let's go. I guess that was the only trick I needed to do to stop the lava slimes from spawning was just to hold my other pick and be like, hey, they could be a good source of XP, and now we won't see another one for the rest of the project. But I'm okay with that, honestly. If they want to stay away to just keep me from repairing my picks, fine. You have my full approval. Little lava slimes. So I think the change of focus here is that we want to get this whole end done, and that's going to include doing the walls as well. So first things first here. This isn't rocket science here, game. Me, whoever's at fault here. Let's focus up. Yeah, one, just to make us appreciate how smoothly all those others have gone for a bit there. All right, now did we go 25 or 26? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. We can still use that. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go there and there. 2. Think we're gonna be all right here. We can. Let's see how many of these this does. We're at 31. Ugh. Ugh. Good. Um, 2 over, right? Please be on the right line. Now I hope. Now, as long as we're up here, I think we're gonna do this. Oh, we only have 3. All right, 3, 2, 3, and 4. Well, that's as far as we're going to get there. Now, doing a bit of a rethinking here. Again, a long time in between attempts on these kind of things. So I don't work off a guide or anything like that. I just kind of go as memory and what I understand the settings guide me. Come on, dude. Stop. Yeah, he's gonna do that the whole time, isn't he? Oh, what did I feel? Okay, you go on that way. Eventually, though, you're gonna be a big pain. There we go. All we had to do was go down to the far side to refresh these guys a little bit. Get the big boys. Ooh. Lose a lot of their intimidation factor when there isn't lava on hand. But you can see those big guys. They got me good. And not much to the repairs, unfortunately. Can't recall quite how far down we were on that particular pick. Let's put those away. Let's take all these back in a surprising twist. We're, as you can see, doing a lot of netherrack placement. And this was total goof on my part. Sorry, guys. I don't know whether I've set it up this way in the past, but this is definitely the way to do it. And when I say that, I mean from the start, right? That's what you want. Now, can we... Oh. This is where he got to be... PITB category. Come on. So why are we filling back in the bunch of stuff that we removed? Well, again, dimensions I didn't really think about at the time. I was just thinking the chamber and the spawning and all that, and I didn't really stop to think about the portals and the fact that what we're really, at least initially, trying to do here is get the ghasts through the portal, which is a challenge. You know, just getting them to spawn is one thing. Getting them back to the overworld, that's why it's an advancement. So, are you... Now, I know I've changed the environment a lot, but those little phantom delays and laggy bits there get pretty old. Oh, man. Come on, don't make me do more work. So that keeps them down here. A few more of their buddies could join them now. We could just deal with them all one at a time. I'd be okay with that, but don't know that that's their priority. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I wonder how we're doing on time here. First time we looked, it was like 30 minutes exactly. 59:18. What a bullet. Let's, oh man. To make sure we don't lose these guys by logging out, let's go clean them up. Yeah, we'll have to drop a block to get back up there to finish the backfill behind the wall. All in good time. Oh, man. So eventually we'll get our whole floor going like this, but we want to get the portals set up. And I think for our next episode, we may make the run now. Just because I'd really like to have this set up with a chance of working while we go. So we can run back. We can actually leave a good amount of this netherrack. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get the dimensions set up first, and then before we do any more finishing work, we'll go back, unload what we've got, gets the remaining obsidian and all the other supplies and things that we'll want to use up here. Bring up just a wood chest or something like that, throw it in a wall, and call it good. Then we can be working and trying to get the advancement at the same time. So, pretty cool. I'm setting all this up the way I used to. Sorry, I know we're close, but I can never just end on time, right? That would be a waste. And I miss it. Just had to fix that. Okay. All good. We'll clean everything else up in the next episode. Sublime. I said that word. It's like you guys are listening to me, you crazy Minecrafties, you. Want to take the time to say thank you so much to all the new and returning viewers. I hope you guys are enjoying this content. Again, we've gotten one tier. We've proven that that gas can spawn up here, but we're still ways off from getting the advancement. But beyond the advancement, we'll just use this at times to come up and try to rack up a few tiers over time. It's about as reliable a way as I can have come up with. And again, I may have goofed on the biome. Let me know in the comments if you know, like, oh yeah, I know what you're trying to do, and you really should have done soul sand instead. Maybe that's the one. I know I've used basalt a lot because it's a good garbage block, and maybe that's making me think that. But in terms of getting ghasts consistently without a lot of other spawns up here, it may have been soul sand. That may have been the one that I should have looked at. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you guys know biome preference. We're locked in now. This will work for us well enough. We just may have to use it for a while and deal with some lava slimes along the way. But like I said, maybe that'll help us repair a few tools as we go. So hope you guys do well. Take a break. I'm going to, and I think I will be back for another one tonight. I'd like to at least get this side all the way up, get some views of that for you guys all to see, and then we'll pursue the other side and the connection between them for the spawning in future episodes. But that's what we got. We're an hour and 3 minutes, so I think that's pretty close to an hour. We're getting back towards hitting our marks. But you guys are awesome. Take care of yourselves and one another. We'll see you back here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you would be so kind. I'd certainly appreciate it. I want you guys to stay in the loop. Let this content update for you guys when you see it coming your way. So take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.